Good evening, Greg Neitzert. A few weeks ago, I was pretty hard on you. I stand by what I said, but I wanted to clarify a few things. I've had a couple of nice discussions with a few of you. You gave me some good perspective and some things to think about, and I appreciate that. I also appreciate that you're willing to listen, even if you don't agree with me. If I at least gave you something to think about, then I succeeded. I want to be clear that I respect what you do. I also regard you as honorable public servants. Having followed city politics for several years, I know how much time you spend on this supposedly part-time job. As for the mayor in such a high-profile position and as a leader, you're going to take some pretty heavy shots at times, and sometimes they are unfair. That goes with the territory. We do have differences on certain policies and priorities, but that's okay. By virtue of your position, either as a councilor or the mayor, you can't make everyone happy. I can empathize to some degree given the board that I serve on. I cast votes that annoy one side or the other all the time. You simply make the best decision you can at the time with the information presented. I say all of this to make clear that I appreciate what you do and how tough some of your votes have to be. It's easy for me to take shots at you from the peanut gallery, but you're the one actually making the votes. I'm by nature a positive person. I don't like complaining or being perceived as negative. I wasn't sure I wanted to hammer you as hard as I did, but I thought it was important that some of those things would be said. There's a few reasons. First, it's not good for you to live in an echo chamber. You need to be challenged and even criticized. You need to hear opposing viewpoints. You need to be held accountable. I also decided to say what I did because of my observation and belief that our local media is sadly failing to do their job by and large. There's a few exceptions. For example, Steve Young and Joe Sneap at the Argus are doing some excellent hard news reporting. However, as a whole, the media isn't doing enough in-depth investigative journalism, and they aren't asking the tough questions. Many just regurgitate press releases. Since they aren't asking the tough questions, I felt someone had to, and so I did. Incidentally, that's why I believe this public input is so important. This is perhaps the only effective way for ordinary citizens like me to challenge you publicly. The other reason I spoke is there are certain principles that I believe are vital. There are certain principles that can't be negotiable. Without those principles, it's over. These include transparency, accountability, absolute integrity, and the separation of powers, among others. When I perceive them being violated, eroded, or abandoned, I get very worried. For me, credibility is everything. If I lose that, it's over. That principle is a big reason why I have a lot of trepidation whenever I bring up the event center siding issue. I've done my best given the information and research I've been able to do, but of course there's a lot I don't know. However, I did and I will continue to ask about the subject because I think it's too important. It's not even about the money for me. For me, the problem has been the transparency and the accountability or the lack thereof. I get that it's a legal negotiation and it may be reckless for you to say too much. You're in a tough position. Common sense tells me, however, there must be more that you can say without jeopardizing that negotiation. For example, whatever happened to the mock-ups we were promised in September of 2014? You held a press conference and stated the materials were on site and the mock-ups were impending, and then it never happened. A simple explanation would have been appreciated. We as citizens at least deserve that. There has to be more that you could say. For me, it's not good enough that the siding is fixed. We need a full accounting of what happened. I'm simply asking for communication, accountability, and transparency. We deserve answers. In regards to the supposedly special meeting, among other things, an episode like this scares me because I don't really see a viable recourse for citizens. Since you didn't break state law, there's no appeal to the State Open Meetings Commission. When a city breaks its own law, I ask you, to whom do we appeal? That should concern all citizens. Finally, I want to congratulate you for approving the resolution giving kids access to the bus service at no cost during the summer. That's how it's supposed to work. You set the policy and the executive implements it. This action is great because it's going to benefit everyone. I hope I can challenge you in the future on other topics that concern me. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that.